What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the BJJ Balance podcast. My name is Matt Vega from @O's Nation, and this is Kenny Wilson from @The Party.
Yes, sir.
Follow us on BJJ Balance on Instagram, all social media outlets, TikTok, YouTube. We're all over the place now. Thanks for all the support thus far, and hit a like on this video. Helps us out, helps the algorithm out, helps all that stuff. Write a review on Spotify or Apple. It really does a lot to help push the algorithm and help us grow. And so yeah, man, how's it going?
It's going well. It's going well. I'm getting over being sick. I didn't really get sick, but I kind of had this weird lingering cough thing, and it's kind of going away finally. But
I had that a couple weeks ago. I'd be rolling with guys, and I started coughing. And right now the darkness is looming again, and the world's kind of. I'm like, dude, I swear, dude, I swear I don't have anything. And I'm like coughing in my rounds. And like, am I choking you? I'm like, you're not choking me, bro. I got this tickle in my throat.
Right.
And so like, I actually had to stop rolling with the guys because I couldn't stop this little stupid cough.
yeah,
It's fucking annoying.
it's weird. I'll get it. Like I'll wake up first thing in the morning. I'll have a cough. Then I'm fine. Then it'll be like once in the afternoon. And like when I went to class on Thursday, I didn't cough at all during class. And then after class, I coughed like once in the car. And then that was it.
You get these little spells.
Yeah.
And you just like can't stop.
Yeah. It's weird.
It's like me when I have a fucking bag of chips.
Yeah.
I fucking want them. The next thing you know, I'm just throwing them back.
Yesterday we were, the wife and I went out for dinner and whatnot, and we were walking through. We went to Hell's Kitchen at Harrow's, and we were walking through the casino, and like I felt winded from just like walking. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I feel fine. Like I feel fine. I don't have any like other symptoms. I'm not hot. I'm not sweaty. I don't feel tired or.
There's nothing worse.
Yeah.
Than coming back to training after being sick.
Yeah.
Or after surgery or after hurt, and you just lost your cardio.
Yeah, it goes so fast too.
You're like, you miss 1 week of training.
Yeah.
And your cardio is fucked.
Yeah.
For 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the hell, dude?
Yeah.
I've been training consistently for a year. 1 week off, dude. It's all it takes.
Yeah. Your body's just like, eh.
And then one day you find it. Oh, there you are, Peter. Found my cardio again. But yeah, man, injuries, setbacks, your cardio just leaves so fast. And I feel like the older you get,
It goes faster.
the faster your cardio goes.
Yeah, 100%.
You know? But yeah, no, yeah, I'm with you. I'm just getting over that sickness myself. Been watching a little bit of ADCC trials.
Yeah, yesterday, and
Which is absolutely bananas.
yeah.
Okay.
So, I talked about this a couple weeks ago. I took my stepdad to the ADCC Open, which is different than the trials, if you guys don't know. But the Open it's essentially a competition, like an IBJJF or something like that, under the ADCC rule set with the ADCC weights and whatnot. And so we became familiar with the rules. But what he liked about my stepdad wrestled in high school and college. He's never really understood jiu-jitsu. It seems foreign to him because you're on your back, which is like a cardinal sin in wrestling and whatnot. But he's always viewed wrestling as like a martial art. You know, he's fought.
And I think wrestling is a martial
100%.
art. 100%.
But they don't treat it like that.
If judo is a martial art,
Right.
Wrestling is a martial art.
So he was really into it because there was a heavy wrestling aspect to it. The way that they break the time limits up, the first half of, so if it's a 10-minute match, the first 5 minutes is no points. So you can wrestle, you can go a little wild because you don't need to worry about ending up in a non-advantageous position and losing points. The second 5 minutes is when they add the points in. But the first 5 minutes, you also can't pull guard.
Right.
The only way you can go to the ground is if you get taken down or you take the other guy down, etc. So
Which forces more action.
Right.
Which I love.
Right. And so he got super into it. Like I was a little iffy because I took him to an EBI like years ago and he wasn't into it. You know, got two guys walk out into the middle, immediately drop to their butts.
Who's into that?
Yeah. So he was just like, it was neat. But he got to see some action, some scrambles, and he was super into it. It was just like
Scrambles are the best.
He was watching wrestling with finishes, and he was just all about it.
Scrambles are the best, whether it's a meat lover scramble from Denny's or you're scrambling in jiu-jitsu. Like when you're in the middle of a scramble and you're like, poof, 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 and then finally it stops, you have like your cardio is wrecked, but you're like, wow, that was pretty fun. We were just like really getting after it right there. So there's nothing better than scramble. I really do feel like ADCC has really embraced that and has created a system where you're going to see more of that action, which is cool. They'll be going off the mats.
Yeah.
Just rolling down the street
So part of that rule set too is if it goes off the mat or even onto like an adjacent mat, as long as they're not running into the other competitors, as long as they're in the middle of movement and action and it's still an active fight at that point, they won't stop it unless you're rolling into a table that has a monitor on. You know what I mean? Like
it's like
people backed up.
Bro, it's the ADCC has turned into the Maury Povich show. All the shit happens off the mats. It's like backstage. Like I always watch that show and I was like, hey, if I'm gonna get tickets to Maury, could you put me in the back?
Right.
Because that's where the fucking big girl runs crying. You know what I mean? And I want to be there for that action. So yeah, ADCC is wild, bro. Because in jiu-jitsu and IBJJF and all these other, you have a strategy of working the corners.
Right.
You get the guy, you turn the corner, touch a leg. It looks the rest like, oh, he's making action, but really then we set you in the middle, work the corners. Right. That's how you can win a match, especially as a big guy. Big guy hack right there.
I've never even thought of that strategy.
Work the corners. It's good in the ref's eyes. That's a secret. Keep that one. But yeah, ADCC, Maury Povich show.
Right. And
there's a meme there. I'm going to cut that. I'm going to put Maury. And that's how these things get
We
created.
talked about that in the last episode. People are like, how does he come up with memes all the time? You just watch it
Right
happen.
there. It just happened.
Yep.
The wheels were turning. Fucking monkey. Fucking.
You fucking think in memes, bro.
That's it. Dude. I think in memes. And, yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, ADCC, love that. Also, big UFC coming up next weekend.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Huge. One of the biggest ones in a while.
What a wild, the main and the co-main both had injuries, and then it switched up to better fights.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So much better fights.
Yeah.
Like I almost feel like they're rushing it. I feel like, dude, get these guys and I'm here for it because you don't know what tomorrow's not promised. So, or who's going to be on the card. But like, if they're like, hey, January, this card is happening. And we had like 4 months to really get hyped on it. You could throw another good fight on there. And it's like, put it in Vegas.
But I think by making it adds to the excitement. If anybody can do this, it's Volk. You know what I mean?
We're talking Volkanovski versus Makhachev.
Yeah. If anybody can do that, it's Volk. I think it's going to end up the same way it did. And I think if it goes to the judges, it being in Abu Dhabi, it's going to be a bit biased. I think it's going to go the same route.
I think if it goes to the judges and it's really, really close, I think Volkanovski's going to get it because they want that third. And UFC's all about that bread.
True.
So, but I think I will definitely have money on the dog. I think it'll be almost even. I think it'll be like, a pretty even line.
Volk's the favorite right now. Stats are
and I wouldn't be surprised if,
Makhachev
gets him out of there this time.
The other fight though,
that fight, when they broke that, when they said Kamaru Usman is going to fight,
Chimaev.
Chimaev, not Makhachev, sorry. He's going to fight Chimaev. I'm like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
Because we all saw what Gilbert Burns did.
Yeah.
And Gilbert Burns had him gassed. And Usman's beat Gilbert Burns. And in MMA math, you can't do it. They say, don't trust MMA math. And I agree, you don't. But if Usman can use his wrestling to keep it standing, he's got power.
But has Usman been training?
But I guess he's been asking for this fight.
Oh, okay.
He's been asking, of what I've read, like on MMA Junkie and stuff, he's been asking for this smoke.
Okay.
To get back into the thing. He wants like one more run at the title.
Yeah.
And they already said winner of this gets Strickland.
Right.
And Strickland wants Usman. And we got a little birdie, we know one of Strickland's cornermen.
Yeah.
And I was talking to him last week, and Alex said, Sean wants that one back. And I feel that like Usman was here when they fought first, and Strickland was down. It was at 170. Right. Strickland sucked down to 170, and Sean and Usman was just in his prime. And he broke his orbital, I think, and he ended up beating Sean, went the distance. But now I think they've kind of flipped.
Yeah.
Where Sean is at his prime.
Right.
And Usman's kind of on the decline.
Right.
And they're up in weight.
Right.
So let's see how it goes. Will Usman be able to take him down? Because he took down Sean like 3 or 4 times in their first fight. Is he going to be able to get that again?
Right. Or is Sean just going to keep that pressure?
Yeah, Sean and Strickland kind of broke Izzy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Izzy's fucking, what the fuck?
Fucking out of order, bro.
What happened? The guy's getting DUIs. I was like, he's taking time away
You
from
see
fighting.
that meme that somebody put? It was like a fake tweet from John Jones. Like, little bro trying to be me. Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. Dude, yeah. He broke Izzy.
Bro, like,
I'm
cool.
done fighting for a long time. Like,
Yeah, man. I like Izzy. Like, whatever, man. Like, I don't like Izzy as much as his dogs do, but I like him. But like, you know what I mean? Like, hey, more power to you. Like, take your time off. He's made bags and bags of cash.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he doesn't really need to fight again, I'm sure.
No.
But yeah, man. Who would you rather see? You want to see Sean fight Usman in a rematch, or would you want to see him fight the Wolf?
Either is good. I really like Hamzat, and I think he's an exciting fighter. I like the shit talk that he gets.
And does he have an intimidating voice? No, he does not.
You're
he
right.
does not. God damn it. I can't have anybody. What the hell is that?
Yeah. You know who does though? In a way, and maybe it's just because I come from like a super white trash family. Sean reminds me of my drunk uncle that wants to whoop your ass.
You know why Sean sounds like such a badass? Because he means it.
Yeah.
He means it.
Well, you said that before. That's it's not an act. That's the man.
Yeah, I've seen him talk like that in front of 3 people.
Yeah.
Not just thousands.
Right.
Millions. Yeah. Chimaev, I kind of want to see, look, because I think Chimaev will get the belt eventually.
Yeah.
I think he will get his shot and his time is coming. He's young in the game. I kind of want to see Usman because I don't know how much more he's got.
Right.
I kind of would like to see Usman and Sean. And then,
I almost wonder if Usman loses this when he retires.
I had heard rumblings that he might retire on the last one.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, I like to see, then maybe Colby versus, Chimaev.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd like
And
to see
then
that
like
too.
the real American wrestler versus,
The fight, the in the distance fight I'd like to see would be Chimaev versus Bo Nickel.
Oh, Bo Nickel is like my favorite fighter.
Yeah.
Up and coming fighter.
Yeah.
And I haven't had a favorite fighter in a long time since GSP.
Yeah.
But Bo Nickel, I just feel like he came off humble. I was like, I just love my wife. And I like that. It's a good change of pace. We were so influenced with the Connor stuff.
Right.
Like, I was like, it was a nice change of pace for a guy to be like, I'm going to go home. I'm going to bang my wife missionary style. I'm going to go to church and kiss my kids. I'm like, hey, that's refreshing.
Right.
And so, like, I'm down with that.
I saw an interview with him recently that they were showing him, I guess Chimaev had made a comment about wrestling and how he's like a Swedish national champion or something like that. And it was an interview with Bo Nickel, and they're like, what do you think about his wrestling? And he's just like, I will outpoint him in like less than a minute. Like the match would be over. If it was a straight wrestling match, there's no chance that.
And I don't know if you've seen the Bo Nickel versus Gordon Ryan.
Yeah. The wrestling.
They had like a grappling match.
Right. Well, there was two. There was a wrestling one first, then a jiu-jitsu match.
And then Bo Nickel fucking German suplex Gordon Ryan. Gordon Ryan was being all funny.
Yeah.
And
threw his ass out there.
Yeah, and Gordon and Bo Nickel took him to fucking.
Oh yeah.
Took him up though.
That's where we're going. Then that's where we're going.
Yeah, dude. Bo Nickel's the real truth. I think he will be a champion soon too.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't see him stopping. When you got minus 7,000,
right?
Like on his betting lines, like he's the truth. And what I've heard from guys like Jorge Masvidal and guys at American Top Team, he's that guy.
Yeah, he's got hands too.
So,
and he's just got that wrestler's grind, and then the cardio is just endless at that point.
He's like what Kurt Angle could have been.
Right.
You know what I mean? But UFC wasn't that shit then.
Right.
And like, could you imagine?
Yeah.
Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
And UFC. God.
No one's choking that. What neck?
God damn, dude. That would have been fucking awesome. Dude.
Yeah.
I kind of today, so we're talking about MMA here, guys. See? Look at that. Today, I kind of want to talk about how to recognize a good gym versus a bad gym.
Why are we bringing this up?
Just because I know.
Well, the clips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What clips?
The clips are hot, folks. I'm sorry. The clips get fucking traction. Jesus.
And which is good. I love traction, negative traction, positive traction,
Yeah.
all that traction. But good gym versus bad gym, it's just like you're going to have, you know, I feel like a thing you can notice on a good gym versus a bad gym is you can look at the reviews when you sign up, right? You can have like, but I think the main thing you can tell if you're in a good gym is like how big the kids class is.
Yeah.
If they've got a good kids class, that means your professor's pretty fucking good.
You're right.
Because
Patient too.
there's nobody that can see how a human being is than a single mom.
Right.
Or a mom.
Yeah. Read through.
They can read a man.
Right.
And if they're like, man, this guy's good with kids, like he's probably legit. And then obviously you can look them up on their socials and stuff. And you're like, oh, he's won this, he's won that.
Right.
Because usually a legit black belt on his social media will have everything he's won, his credentials, all this, his lineage, his website.
Multiple time PANS champion.
Right.
Multiple time.
All that good stuff. So that's one way you could tell. But like there are bad gyms out there.
Right. Well, the clip that brought this up, it was kind of two of them. They were split from the same section of that last pod, but it was about the stripes. Stripes not really holding any bearing.
Yeah, people got mad about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's hard. Okay, I get it. Like, there's not a lot of people who make it to black belt. And when I say like, you always hear the black belts like you really don't start learning jiu-jitsu until you turn to black belt.
Right.
And like, I know from like a person who's never had a black belt how that might seem. Like, dude, I'm learning jiu-jitsu every fucking day. What are you talking about? I've had a knee surgery, this, that, weather.
Yeah.
But it's true.
Yeah.
And you guys, once you guys get there, and I hope everybody listening to this gets there. Once you get it, you're like, dude, I really don't know shit.
I've had conversations with a few black belts about this specifically. One of them was Jason. I did like an hour and a half sit down interview with Jason for like a little documentary thing I'm working on. And in that interview, we had mentioned about this specifically, him being a black belt and how he made that exact comment. Like, I feel like I'm just touching the tip of the iceberg of learning jiu-jitsu.
It's so true because I go into like when I'm teaching class, I'm like, I don't want to let these guys down. I feel like I got to show them something cool every day.
Right.
And like, it's like, sometimes you can't show them something cool. Sometimes you got to show them something basic.
Right.
And it's like, and then I look at the high level guys in the class and I'm like, they want to see them cool. And I'm showing scissor sweep.
Right.
And it kind of sucks. And I feel like, you want to like them to respect you for your belt. And they do. And if you just got your black belt, you got to realize like these guys do respect you and your black belt because they wouldn't be in the class.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, but that's why the whole stripe thing was, I was like, stripes don't really matter. It's kind of a money grab. And now look I'm saying stuff to get bullets. I'm throwing hot missiles at you guys because I want the fire. Right. And you guys fucking brought it. But stripes really, like I said, they don't really matter to get the black. Like, why does they matter at black? I was like, because that's how up you get your degrees in black belt. That's how you get measured on your skill. Because only a second degree black belt can give a black belt.
See, I didn't know that until you mentioned it. I was like, oh shit, that makes sense.
So you have the stripes actually mean something.
Right.
When it comes to like the other colored belts, it's just kind of like blue gets you to, it's pretty much a measurement for how long you've been there.
Right. A stripe is roughly 6 months.
Right.
Yeah.
And some guys give stripes on their people's first day.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, like your first day. Here's your first stripe. Welcome to jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Come on, man. What are we doing?
Yeah. Speaking of gyms, good gyms versus bad gyms. So I know someone, I may have mentioned this in the past. I know someone whose child goes to a jiu-jitsu school. The child has been doing jiu-jitsu for maybe 4 or 5 years now. And when I say child, I mean this kid's like 9 and he's a brown belt. The face that you're making makes sense to me.
What the fuck?
Yes.
That's not legit.
So I showed one of the purple belts that goes to my school, and he's looking at it, he's like, what the fuck? They don't have kids' belts. And I'm sitting there going like, is it really, maybe it's not Brazilian jiu-jitsu, maybe it's some sort of like older jiu-jitsu, like I don't know. Then I start looking like at the gym page, and it's some sort of a Gracie gym, at least it had Gracie in the name. And it was just weird to me. And I'm like,
to my knowledge, and
but it's in all fairness, it's in like Ohio or some shit like that. You know what I mean?
You can't even get a blue belt till you're 15.
Right.
That's why they have the junior belts.
Right.
And I don't even know the junior belts because my kid hasn't started jiu-jitsu yet. And I don't teach kids class.
If that kid goes to a tournament, you know what I mean? Like, and you go to sign them up for a tournament by their belt, like
they can't compete.
Yeah. You go to an IBJJF, there's not going to be a 9-year-old brown belt class. So
I want to see Miki Galvao was the youngest black belt. He was 17 and people were pissed about that.
Oh, really?
People, I guess that was last year. So people were pissed that he got his black belt because he wasn't old enough technically to have a black belt.
Right.
But I mean, the guy is fucking legit.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
He's legit a black belt. So give him his fucking black belt. But by the rules, technically, I don't think he was old enough or there was some kind of thing where like he couldn't qualify for it. Yeah. So yeah, if you're giving look at how heavy is that little kid's belt? Holy fuck.
Right.
So you're going to give this kid a black belt. It's not a Taekwondo belt. Now you can have junior black belt. I mean, are they doing the junior brown belt? Junior this? They don't have that. If you're creating your own belt system in Ohio, like, come on, man. Like, that's not how it works.
I just think there's going to be a rude awakening someday for that child.
And he might be a good.
Right.
But, I mean, you got to do the junior belts. That was absurd.
Well, so what you're basically saying, what they're saying is that like roughly this kid when he's 11 or 12, he'll be a black belt. And it's like, yeah.
Nah, man.
No.
Nah, dude.
That's not how that works.
Nah, man. He doesn't have first knee surgery yet, dude.
That's how you grade if someone's legit in the sport or not.
Yeah.
How many knee surgeries have you
Purple
had?
belt, man. That's your knee surgery belt. Like this podcast. Subscribe to this podcast right now on whatever platform you listen to. If you got a knee surgery at purple belt, and you have to. If like, man, I better do it. Yeah, I got one. Yeah. If you got a knee surgery at purple belt, hit that follow button.
Yeah.
Right now. Pause it, hit it, and then push play. Hey, welcome back.
So back to the good gym, bad gym thing. I think the kids class thing is super valid point. I think gym culture. So that was one of the things where when we were talking about the other thing was douchebags, weeding out douchebags. Jiu-jitsu weeds out douchebags, and people were just like, "Oh, well, I know plenty of people at gyms that are douchebags," and it's like that's kind of the professor's job to kind of have conversations with those people, tone it down. If people have made complaints to the professor about a person that's a douchebag in class, in the gym, the professor should be stepping up to have a conversation with that person to correct that. Now, if the professor doesn't, or that's, the professor's boy or something like that, or the professor's kind of a douchebag, like maybe you should avoid that gym.
Right. And if the professor is not a likable guy, he's not going to have a lot of numbers in his school.
Right.
You have to have a guy you want to hang out with.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, this guy is going to be the guy you want to give you your black belt.
Right.
Like, do you want to be a black belt under an asshole? Nobody does.
No.
So those guys' gyms, like, I don't know how many people Rosemar Palaharis has at his school, but I would say it's probably not a lot.
I promise you all those purple belts have had a knee surgery, though.
Yes. And if you are one of his students, you just hit that like button on this podcast. You know what I'm saying? So I don't like, you pretty much tell. And then there's hygiene. If your gym, you can like, man, this gym's dirty.
Yeah.
You could tell if you see kids running off the mat barefoot and running on the mat, that happens. But if you don't see someone saying, hey, don't do that, and reprimanding the kids and they're just running into the bathroom, running back on the mat, that's wrong. And if you don't see people, there's like walking on the mat and shoes, and you can tell if a gym's clean or not real fast.
Yeah.
Real fast. Again, now the mats could be weathered. That's fine. But like, are they clean? There's a big difference. If the gym is too big, if there's 80 people on the mat, and sometimes our gym's like that.
Yeah.
That might not be a fit for you, because guess what? You might get lost in the shuffle.
Right. Well, in all fairness, though, your gym may have 80 people on the mat, but there's probably also 10 black belts.
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
but if there's one professor and there's like 80 guys on the mat, you're like, this guy doesn't even know who I am.
Right.
And who wants to do something You know, I mean, then you're basically just taking a spin class,
Right.
because you just came in, you got your work, and you don't even know the person pedaling in the front.
So you also you've got to look at how long just basic research. How long's the gym been there? Okay, you show up, the gym's been here 10 years, okay? How many black belts are there? How many brown belts are there? How many purple belts are there? You know what I mean? Like if you look at that, and okay, that usually that means there's been some longevity in that gym. You know what I mean? But also, are there people? So like in Poncho's gym, I've always noticed that there's a lot of black belts that don't go open up new schools. They just stay with Poncho. They stay training with Poncho. He integrates them into his own gym, training program. You're teaching class there. Jay still comes back and teaches classes there, even though he has his own gym. Phil teaches classes there. You've got
because of the gratitude and because of the respect we have for that guy.
Yeah, JoJo and Scott. Like, there's so many black belts.
The coolest Poncho story I can ever tell you guys, and his name is Ricardo Feliciano, Marietta, California. If you ever want to train, if you ever just want to go up to them, he's like a super nice guy.
Yeah.
The coolest Poncho story, and this is why I will forever be indebted to this man. Okay. My uncle, a little fun fact about me. My uncle, I was doing MMA, doing all that stuff. I had a real bad knee injury. Not a purple belt, but I had a bad knee injury. First knee injury. I quit training, started lifting a lot. Thought my training days were done. My uncle's like, hey, I want to get my sons in jiu-jitsu. Do you want to jiu-jitsu? I was part-time at my job. I didn't have a lot of money. He's like, I'm going to pay for you. So he pays for a year of training for me.
Okay.
Gets me hooked up in there. Long story long, I end up not staying at that school, and I end up somehow finding Poncho and training with Poncho. My uncle ends up coming over because I'm there.
Right.
And he brings his sons there, and they're training under Poncho.
Okay.
My uncle passes away, cancer. Poncho didn't have to do this. He holds an open mat, donations for my family. Mm-hmm. Fantastic. Has a super fight. Gives all the money from his super fight, jiu-jitsu, to my aunt.
Oh, wow.
And like shows up at the funeral.
Oh, wow.
And was that brown belt? I was a brown belt. I'm like, he didn't have to do all that.
Yeah, nobody asked.
And that's just the kind of guy he is. He's the coolest guy. So I'm always going to be indebted to Poncho.
Yeah.
100%. There's like whatever he needs, I'll run through a wall for the guy because he just goes over and does the extra stuff. And I see that with Jason, and I see that with all these other black belts.
Yeah.
They're like, what do you need? Like, they're like, that's how you run good business.
Right.
You have good relationships with your students. You're not just their professor, you're their friend.
It's the culture that he's inspired in that gym too, because Jay, in opening his own gym, is fostering that same kind of a thing. You know what I mean? We had a student whose parents passed away, young student whose parents passed away in an accident of sorts a couple months ago. Jay had a fundraiser at the gym. Jay had a fundraiser at the tattoo shop. Jay raised as much money as he possibly could for these kids. And these are just students, you know what I mean, that have been there for a year and a half or something like that. But he's like, he cares. He genuinely cares about it. It's not just a gym. It's a family. We mentioned that in a couple of podcasts ago. It's like a good gym feels like a family. And if the class is over and you see people hanging out there and they're talking and not everybody's just packing their shit and is out of there, that's probably a good gym. But if everybody's just packing their shit and they're out of there, and like, okay, when I show up to my class, the kids' class is ending. The parents for the kids' class are out front talking for like probably the first 20 minutes of my class. You know what I mean? Like they will leave the gym because it's not a very large space and they want to be respectful of the class that's going on there and not talking over the instructor and whatnot. But they'll go to the pizza place next door. Right. They'll, all the kids' parents are buying pizzas and like, eating as the class and whatnot. Nobody coordinated it. It's just, that's the community that's been fostered within that gym. It's a family,
Right.
These kids spend, multiple hours a week practicing, trying to kill each other. and the parents are there for it. You know what I mean? So that's a good culture. Poncho's Gym has always had a warm feeling anytime I've walked in there. I may not know people. People will walk up to me, shake my hand, introduce himself. Like it's not weird. You know what I mean? It's not. There's no ego there.
And I don't know this for sure. And I could be talking out my ass, but I know for a fact. I don't know this for sure, but I know for a fact. I don't know, but I'm pretty like I know there's probably been times where guys aren't making money or they don't have the money and they don't have this. And I know Poncho's in there, and I guarantee you, despite how cool this dude is, he's like, just come train.
Yeah.
Just come train. We'll talk about it later. We'll figure it out.
Right.
Like, and that's just the kind of guy he is. And on the other side of that, I know a guy in a gym who literally, one of his students was younger, passed away. Okay. And I know for a fact that guy made the parents pay the rest of the contract.
Oh, wow. Wow.
That's a douchebag.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't care how unprofessional, how much maybe you need the money for yourself,
right.
Whatever. But if your student passes away and he's in a year deal,
right,
and he's got like 5 months left, you don't charge the parents.
No, that's dark.
Because they're not training jiu-jitsu.
Right.
And you're like, no, the deal's the deal. And to me, that's, you know what I mean? There's levels of, like, well, all I can say is if you're trying out a new gym, usually gyms will give you a couple weeks free. And at white belt, it's your time to figure out which gym in your area is best for you.
Right. And
get the feel for the vibe of the gym.
Try multiple out and maybe go back to the one you felt the best at.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's
don't settle immediately.
Yeah. Don't just pick one because it's close to your house.
Right.
Like, don't be afraid to drive for a better training.
Right.
Because trust me, it's better.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to be a blue belt and be like, man, it's right next to my house. But like, guys at the other gym, because they're at the tournament, because the gyms in the area hit the same tournaments, and they're looking like they're having a great time and they're winning and they got cool shirts. And like, and next thing you know, you're like, damn, but this one's so close to my house. You get what you pay for.
100%. Yeah.
So, and now gym culture for guys compared to girls is way different.
Yeah.
It's
well, I assume it is. I don't know. I've never been.
We'll go there and be like, guys will be talking about pussy, whatever. We'll like talking about, like inside dirty locker room jokes. A guy will just shit on another guy.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh, like you're pathetic. Like, I don't know. Do girls do that? And if they do, I want you guys. I don't know. I've never been to an all women's BJJ class, and I've never even taught an all women's class, so I don't know how the vibe is. But like, are you guys talking about like, oh, Susie's such a slut, blah, blah, blah. Are you guys doing that? Like, just like ragging on each other? Do girls do that? Because I don't think my wife does that.
I have a guy that when we roll, he call it's even if I'm beating him, he's calling you, you're a bitch. I hate you.
Yeah.
He loves me, but there's definitely a massive shit talking while we're rolling and after the roll. But then I see like the girls like in our classes and whatnot, when they pair up and roll and whatnot, they're all supportive and like
selfies and
high-fiving.
Like the selfies. The girls always taking the selfies. Yeah. And they're having a great time. But I like, do girls talk shit? I know they do, like in UFC, like you got the Ronda Rousey, Misha Tate shit. They like really actually don't like each other and they want to throw hands. But like, what's the environment for women? Because there's nothing better.
So you've had I agree with you on that. I'm a big proponent of shit talking in general. That may just be my former military experience speaking as well.
I just think it's a guy thing.
Yeah, yeah.
You want to see some shit talk, turn on an Xbox.
Right. Oh. Yeah. Modern Warfare 3 beta is out this weekend.
You'll just be like, oh, fuck you, man. Yeah. So like, yeah.
But so what? Okay, have you had any? I know that there's like one particular black belt that I know you've been training with for a long time. Does she partake in the shit talking as well? Does she have a mouthpiece on her like that?
I don't know. No, because you know what? Unfortunately, so the girls that train, like Ashley Yoder, UFC, just fought this last weekend. She is very funny. Yeah. She's super funny, and I could probably talk a little shit with her here and there. But like, I definitely kind of like nerf
okay.
I nerf myself because I'm not going to say anything out of pocket. I don't want to make it's already a male dominated environment, and I'm not going to say anything to make a female feel uncomfortable for doing something I think that every woman should do.
Right.
So if I have women training with me or I'm training with women, I want them to be 100% comfortable. I don't want them to feel insecure or, like down on themselves. So you're definitely not going to get the same banter from me when there's women present, period. Maybe that's just how I was raised, but I want them to feel like jiu-jitsu is a safe place. And women shouldn't feel like, oh, these guys are just talking about bitches and like the guy
That's
locker
fair.
room talk.
Yeah.
That should not, if there's women in your class, there should be no locker room talk. You should treat it like there's a 6-year-old in there.
Right.
And that's how I kind of change my mind whenever there's women in the class.
Right.
So, what do you think?
I don't know. Like I said, that from the only thing I could base it off of would be the women that I see in my class, and they're all super supportive of each other, and they'll kind of go off to the side. Like when it's time to roll, they always are the first roll together, and then they'll go like they'll roll, but then they'll work on little things together. It's definitely
hard. It's hard to get women. Women are not going to search out dudes for rounds. I'm going to tell you that right now. They're not going to be like, hey, me and you.
Yeah.
Maybe if it's her class, maybe it's Gabby Garcia.
Right.
It's like, bring over here. I mean, like, you know what I mean? Looking like Goro from Mortal Kombat. But hey, besides that, you're not going to get females be like alphaing, asking dudes to roll. Right. Now, I can ask if I see a girl and then it's like, sometimes I'll be teaching class, it's odd number. And like the guy who doesn't pair up, they get me.
Right.
And I was like, hey, me and you. And like, of course, it's, you just have fun.
Right.
But like they'll roll with you if you ask them. But you got to treat the girls with respect. You can't hurt them. You got to like this. I'm just happy that women are training. So I'm not trying to go crazy.
Right.
What else I got here? Finding uncommon fires in your jiu-jitsu.
So explain the uncommon fires theory.
I think everybody, sometimes you'll hit like a lull in your game and you'll hit like a plateau, whether it's mentally or whether it's physically, but you have to find uncommon fires. And uncommon fires can be anything. It could be like my girlfriend left me.
Right.
Here's jiu-jitsu, uncommon fire. You just lit that shit.
Right.
It could be like, someone called me fat, or someone said I can't do it. My uncommon fire. There was a guy. I was a white belt. I had a bunch of guys in my team. It was for American Top Team, and he would bring people gear, and he would like hook everybody up with shorts and rash guards and this, that, and this, and like he was like pretty much like hooking everybody up,
right,
and like helping him with tournaments and stuff. And he looked at me and he said, Matt, I'm not going to give you anything because I don't think you are like serious about it. And I don't think you are like going to do that.
Right.
And his name was Ramon Andino. Boom. Name drop. I don't give a fuck. Anyways, he lit a fire, and I'll thank you for it. Thank him. And he probably don't even remember doing that.
Yeah.
And usually someone who lights the fire, they don't remember. So I want to thank him for doing that, because that focused me. I was taking care of my brother. I was working. I was, maybe I wasn't training. And self-reflecting now, I wasn't training as hard as I was. But that helped me say, fuck you, bro. Like, I'll show you. And now look, I made it to black belt.
Right.
First degree. A lot of those guys that where he was helping out, they're not even training anymore. Some are, but some aren't. And he lit an uncommon fire in me.
Yeah.
So uncommon fires, sometimes you got to find it.
Yeah. I'd say mine would be just, I started training like 6 years ago, I think, or something like that. And then I trained for like a year and a half. And then work got in the way, got a promotion, just got busy with life, had a kid. And I would have these conversations outside of a gym, obviously, with like, I'd run into Jay at a kid's birthday party or something like that. And he didn't have a school yet. And he was just like, oh, you ever going to come back and train? Just him even asking me. And I know he was doing it like in a nice way. Like, like, hey, it'd be cool. Like, we miss you, that kind of a thing. But it would sting like, fuck, I want to go back and train, like, and it was something that it was always in the back of my head, and it always kind of ate at me. Or like I'd see somebody that I was training with initially get another belt promotion. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, he went from, it's like when we were together, he got promoted to blue, and then like now he's purple, now he's brown belt. And it's like, fuck.
That could be me.
Yeah. It's like,
Sometimes that is
I
a
see
fire.
that.
Yeah. Sometimes you're like, dude.
or, yeah. So like, okay, that was my uncommon fire for blue belt. So I went to Ponchos for an open mat, and I saw a guy get promoted to brown belt. And when I was at Ponchos, he was like a 2-stripe white belt, and I was like a no-stripe white belt. And I remember rolling with them, and I remember like having like decent rolling and whatnot, but like, you know, we were both fucking white belts.
Right.
But now he's a brown belt. And I'm like, dude, if I never would have fucking
That
quit,
could have been me.
I could be a brown belt right now.
Yeah. I mean, and you know, everybody's race is different. Everybody's growth is different. People will get, it's not a race. Everybody takes school at a different time.
Yeah.
You know what I
But
mean?
that was where I was just like, I gotta get my fucking blue belt. And I had no issues with being a white belt. When promotion time came around, if I wasn't the guy getting the blue belt, it didn't bug me. Like I there wasn't like that weird jealousy that I had in the past anymore. It was kind of like, okay, just for the next, I got 6 months to work my ass off for the next one. Like, let's go. You know what I mean? Like maybe I can pull it this next time around. And then when I got the blue belt, it's like, okay, I know I've got a roughly a 2-year timeline, so I'm not getting a purple anytime soon. Let's just work our fucking ass off until then, and start chipping away at it.
And part of me is like that way. I have a fire lit in me about firearms,
Yeah,
right? And like you posted something today on your personal thing,
yeah,
and that kind of was like, yeah, he's freaking right. Because
Yeah.
do I own them? Yes. Do I have them? Yeah, I have quite a few,
yeah.
but
Are you proficient?
I'm not.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? I don't put the rounds
yeah,
in training
yeah,
to be proficient. Like I said, my analogy, I'm tying the shoes. I'm still like bunny hoop. I'm talking it through.
right,
I'm not like just set it and forget it, think about it, rip and go.
right.
And like I need to be. I would say I'm like a 2-stripe, 3-stripe white belt at guns.
It's one of those things where it's like, if I'm going to a range and I have any of my guns out there, I can pick them up and I can shoot them well. But could I draw from an appendix carry holster, shoot a mag off, tactically reload quickly, you know, have another one in the chamber and get more shots off? Like that's the kind of like repetition, like that's where I need to work on. Like, yeah, I can pick up most any gun at this point, find the sights, hit my target. But am I proficient enough to carry a weapon?
And to me, like I'm good with my Glock.
Right.
I'm pretty accurate with that. But like, you know, my, 357, I'm not.
Right.
Like it's like a waste of gun
Right.
for me because I'm not accurate enough with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so there's certain things like, yeah, I can, it's just, and I need to put the work in. And I think like self-reflecting, that's another thing with jiu-jitsu. Like, I'm not like, I've been humbled so many times training. I've been beat up so many times that like, I know like, and there's guys, they're white belts and blue belts that I train every morning. They're cops and they're freaking brown belt, black belts at guns.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I'm telling like, hey guys, like I am good. I am above average professor level at a secondary skill.
Right.
Because the first skill you want, I don't want to have to grab you.
Yeah.
And so I need to self-improve on that. So when you posted that today, as those kind of like uncommon fires, like, like that, like it was like, I wasn't expecting that fire, the light, but it lit me. It lit it up. Good. And I was like, I need to get better at that. Like I for sure saw that on your page. And I was like, at the freak party, by the way. And I was like, you know what? Like I gotta get better at shooting. He's 100% right. Like
it's not just that too. I mentioned the first aid thing too. Like most people aren't capable. You put a Band-Aid on. Could you dress a wound?
Right.
Could you stop bleeding in someone's arm?
Like a tourniquet.
Could you use a tourniquet? You know what I mean? Like how proficient are you at that? Because if God forbid it ever happens, but if you're ever in a situation where there's a gunfight going on, and do you even have a good first aid kit available? Like that was something that like in the last year, I was like looking for a Band-Aid for a cut. And I'm looking through cabinets in the kitchen, go upstairs in the bathroom.
So where is it right now?
The fuck is a Band-Aid? You know what I mean?
Like, I need to get to it right now. Too late. You're dead.
Right. And so I immediately went on Amazon and I bought like a I don't know, an $80 fucking first aid kit. And like, so I have one upstairs, one downstairs. because it's important to me. Like what if I got a deeper cut? What if I was in the kitchen and I cut myself with a knife, or I cut my finger off, or you know what I mean? Or
God forbid your kid got hurt.
Right. It's just like, I got to be able to like quickly get this as clean as possible, as dressed as possible, stop the bleeding, get to a hospital.
And there's half the times, if you're married, you guys know this, and it probably happens to you, 2 or 3 times a month, my wife will wake me up out of dead sleep and have me walking around my house clearing rooms in my underwear. I heard something. I'm like, all right. But like, my mind is wrong because I'm just going like, let's go. Hands, baby. Hands and boxer briefs. And I'm like, I'm not like, it's right there. I never think to grab my piece.
Yeah.
I'm never thinking that. I'm always like, just go grapple. And I got to switch that.
During the original dark times of 2020,
The darkness.
there was a rainy night, and my Ring doorbell goes off, and there are 2 men at my front door at 3:00 in the morning wearing masks, like
Holy
not
shit.
not like a N95 mask or whatever,
Like a ski mask.
yes, going door to door. So they hit because we check the neighborhood app or whatever, looking under my floor mat for a key, looking around my
Home invade.
Yes, at my front door. I watched them try to unlock my front door. Through my whole neighborhood, they went house to house trying that shit.
They didn't get in, hopefully.
No, I didn't see anything posted about anybody getting in it.
Dude.
But it's just like, when that happened,
Jiu-jitsu is not going to help there.
right. Yeah, 2 large men. I'm one guy. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. At best case scenario, I'd take one out. What about the other? You know what I mean? So it was a wake up call. It was like, and I live in like the part of the world that we live in is a relatively safe part.
Correct.
Yeah. And I live in like a small kind of gated community. This was like the last place you would expect something like that to happen.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And like, that's when you got to have that shotgun.
Right. Dead on. So it was a wake up call. Like, I need to be aware of my surroundings. I need to make sure that I have a weapon that I'm proficient with.
People get too comfortable.
Yes.
Just like people get comfortable when they're driving the car, and most accidents happen close to the house.
The wife and I put together like a contingency plan kind of a thing. Like, if this were to happen, what would you do? Okay, well, our kid's across the hallway from us. You get to the kid. You make sure you have a weapon with you as well. You stay in that room with that door closed until I tell you to come out. And if somebody comes through that door,
and I didn't say the whatever word or whatever it's me.
Right. You shoot.
Yeah.
End of story. You know what I mean? Like that. We sat down and like talked about that. Like, it was a scary time. You know what I mean?
Dude, that's a crazy story, man.
So then a couple months later, I get it. The doorbell rings at, I want to say it was like, I was asleep. We were asleep. It was like 11:30 at night or something like that. Doorbell rings. What the fuck is my doorbell ringing 11:30 at night for? I get up, I grab a gun in my boxers, coming down the stairs, looking through the people. I don't see anybody. I'm like, what the fuck? I've got a tactical light on my gun. I'm looking through the backyard. Got the light on, 1,500 lumens in the backyard, looking for anybody that might be in the backyard. I'm opening the garage up, looking through the garage. Just,
right.
I don't know what's going on. Finally, I go to the front door. I unlock the front door. My keys, my car keys, my house keys are laying on my porch. The neighbor, I left him in the mailbox. Unlocking the mailbox, left my fucking keys in there. The neighbor recognized my car keys, and he was ringing the doorbell to bring them back. I just didn't get downstairs.
But like that original from the darkness, that uncommon fire.
Yeah.
Those boys lit a fire.
Yeah.
So now you're ready.
Yeah.
So it makes total sense. And we shouldn't have to wait for the fire to be lit for something like
It's
that.
too late at that point.
Right. Like I need to take what you said and, get better. So maybe that entitles me and you going somewhere and you helping me.
Yeah.
And I help you jiu-jitsu, you help me shoot.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's something that maybe needs to be done. And I know there's other programs like Guns and Geese. I don't know if you heard of them, but Joao Assis and like Greg Anderson, a bunch of guys like military operative guys, they're black belts and jiu-jitsu guys and have these shooting programs.
Nice.
And they have like, you can go and like learn how to shoot, tactical situations and then train gi jiu-jitsu with Joao. And
Nice.
like, it's crazy. It's like a cool thing. So like, don't be afraid to like practice. A lot of people are so scared of weapons,
Yeah.
but like, it's better to have, you know,
Well, especially if you train this, you should not be uncomfortable with the thought of violence.
no,
You know what I mean? It happens. It's not like it, and it's not uncommon either. You know what I mean? It might be uncommon in your own little world until it's not. But if you're training jiu-jitsu because you want to be proficient, if somebody were to try to put hands on you, well, then you should be proficient in other areas as well.
exactly. And like, I think like the first thing they say is like, when you're doing a hand-to-hand combat with somebody, the best thing that can happen to you is get punched in the face and you realize it doesn't hurt.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying it doesn't hurt. I'm just saying like,
You're
wow,
not. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm awake still.
You
I'm
think like
alive
everybody
still.
thinks like you hit in the face. Oh, I'm crying. Like, no,
Right.
like, oh man, your adrenaline's boom. It's there.
Yeah.
So it's good to get sufficient in all aspects of life and be prepared. And I feel like as a man of the house, you should be good with your firearm. You should be sufficient with that. You should be sufficient with your grappling. You should be sufficient with your striking.
Right.
All that, because it's your job. You're the break glass.
Yeah.
The man of the house is the break glass for his family.
Yeah.
When shit hits the fan and they have to break glass, it's dad.
Yeah.
It's husband.
Yeah.
It's brother. It's dad. Whatever. It's uncle. You're that guy. So, you know what I mean? Like, what kind of dog are you?
Right.
Are you a German Shepherd or are you a Labradoodle?
Right. Yeah.
You better have and we all come from wolves.
Right.
You better have a little bit of dog in you.
Right.
A little bit of mean one in there because, you know, that's what keeps the other mean dogs away. So let's get into some questions. I didn't think we were going to go there at that podcast, but that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Got a couple questions here on Instagram. I reached out and let's see what they say. Oh, got even more. Okay, here we go. Best simple advice for a 52-year-old just starting jiu-jitsu.
Listen to your body.
This comes from Nikki Avaro. Okay. Yeah, listen to your body.
Yeah. Train as often as you can.
And you're a
Your
fucking
body-
gangster, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
You're a gangster. You know why you're a gangster, Nikki? I'm going to tell you why. Because we have an old guy in our gym. Old man Jay. And everybody's going to pop now that I said his name on the podcast. Old man Jay, he's cranky. He's always kind of down on himself. And I'm like, one day I pull him to the side and he's sitting to me. He's like, man, you guys are so strong. He's strong. He's this, he's that. I'm like, how old are you, Jay? He's like, 65,
wow.
67, something like that. And I'm like, bro, I was like, you're a blue belt? I'm like, you were a gangster, dude.
Yeah. You're here
I was like,
working your
all
ass off.
your friends are freaking at the donut shop right now talking about the high school football game.
Right.
You're here
Putting
with
work in.
30-year-olds and 20-year-olds rolling, getting wild, getting weird, putting it on the line. I was like, I hope to God they'd be training still at 65.
Right.
Like, I was like, you're killing it. You're doing pull-ups. You're taking Krav Maga. I was like, you're a gangster.
Right.
I was like, I envy you. Even though I have the black belt and you're the blue belt, I want to be what you are doing at that age.
Right.
So for you starting at 52, Nikki, that's fucking awesome, man. Because guess what? Whether you have grandkids or kids, you're doing something. And I'm telling you right now, your wife might be, or if you're not married or whatever, they're looking at this guy's 52. What's he doing? He's crazy. You're going to have those people doing that. Like, what are you doing? Jiu-jitsu, pajamas, karate stuff?
Right.
Well, that's all going to happen. But you are actually bettering yourself as a human. And they're just kind of envious that you're actually doing that. And then once you finally get your blue belt,
Right.
or you start getting a little status, people are going to start asking you why, and they're going to start asking you how.
Well, there's going to be an inevitable change in the body as well.
100%.
Yeah. So, I mean, whether it just be your overall body movement, your flexibility, your, physical change, maybe some muscle mass changes, things like that. Like, there's going to be a change, and people will see that, especially the people that don't see you every day. The people that they see you, once a month or once every couple of weeks or something like that. One day you're gonna walk by them, they're gonna be like, whoa, like what have you been up to? You know what I mean?
And you're gonna get injured. So like you can't be like, I'm listening to my body, like you said, which is good. You're not gonna be a 4-day a weeker. If you feel like, hey, I'm hurting, I need to take the day off. Take the day off. Be selective on who you choose on rounds.
Right.
I have things like, well, if you're a big guy, it's your job to roll with the big. If you're older, it's not your job to roll with the big guys.
Right.
It's like you got to trust your body. You got to know your limitations. And if you have a good professor, like we talked about earlier, he will know that you're older, and he will set you up with rounds that are good for you, or he will set you up with higher level guys who will take care of you in your rounds.
Right.
So don't be afraid of that. But listen to the advice of earlier podcast. Be selective on your gym. Be selective on the culture of your gym. Be selective on like listening to your body, and just take it as, you're bettering yourself every day. Every day you train is a better day to be alive.
Yeah. The age-old saying, you're just 1% better every day. Like, be consistent, keep going, listen to your body, and before
maybe you're a fit guy already and you work out a lot.
Yeah.
And that's going to help you tremendously. But if you don't, if jiu-jitsu is something you're like, I just don't like traditional working out, and I don't like, picking shit up and setting shit down. And I don't want to be on the hamster wheel to try to lose the weight. I'm looking for something where I can make camaraderie, I can make friends, and I can, get a good workout in and learn a skill. That's what jiu-jitsu is.
And don't compare yourself.
Do not compare yourself to other people in the gym.
Even if you're both white belts, if you got a guy that's 25 years old and he's starting at the same time as you, if he progresses faster, he's able to do moves that you can't do. Like, that's not an equal basis for comparison. You will.
But by working out, you're fighting age.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're fighting that age. You're like still moving.
Right.
And you're still in the fight.
What you don't use, you will lose. So, but you can gain it back. It's just going to be harder. So good on you for getting at it.
Good on you. Next question. From TKD Penguin, Kyle, being a black belt already, family man, what motivates you to train as hard as you do still? Well, motivation for me comes from my motivation for this whole social media and for everything that I do is, I don't know if I said this before, but I want to live forever. And by living forever is, there's growing up, I don't have a lot of memories. I was kind of raised by my mom and my grandparents, but there's like not a lot of video back then of like my grandparents or nothing. So I kind of like forget who they were.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to like live forever by like posting videos on social media, me talking. Like if something happens to me and my daughter just types my name in,
right, there
I am. I'm everywhere. You can hear me talking all day long.
Right.
Now, am I saying some stuff that's not good for kids' ears? Yes. But I'm still like, she can find her dad online. And by me training jiu-jitsu and competing when I can and winning certain, and like putting it on the line, that kind of like motivates, like one day when I'm past it and I'm like in hospice and I'm almost out and I'm almost, my time on this earth is done. My grandkids are going to be going through my stuff and they're going to see my medals and they're going to see like, dang, Grandpa Vega, look at him. All this, black belt, boom, this degree, trained, this. I'm creating like a lesson or like another motivational piece for like their life. So they could be like, wow, look at us. Look what he did. Like, and I feel like that's why I train and I stay motivated. I keep going because I kind of want to like teach like my future generations of like, and even if it's like, it's not much, like it's jiu-jitsu, but like it's my thing.
Yeah. And
like, I want them to like go for their thing as hard as I go for my thing.
You're developing a culture in your household of discipline and staying with something, consistency.
Everybody has this thing at school where your kid, it happened in my school last year and it was the coolest thing ever. The kid's like, my dad will beat up your dad.
Yeah.
And then my daughter's like, well, my dad's a black belt. I was like, hell yeah, dude. I always wanted to be
There's a
the
trump
kid
card.
told me that when I was in elementary school.
Yeah.
And I was all, damn, your dad's a black belt like Chuck Norris, like a Ninja Turtle? Damn it. And I was pissed. I was like, God got me. My dad's not. My dad's not a black belt at all. My dad drives a truck. You know? So like I train hard. I train for my legacy. And I feel like building your legacy, as stronger your legacy is, the more it'll rub off on your kids and teaches them discipline and work ethic. And so that's why I train. And I love to do it. It's something I love to do. And it's something that's been imprinted in my life forever. So that's why I do it. What about you? Same thing?
I think I talked about this in the first podcast. My motivation is just as I'm starting to get older, like when I hit 40, the pops and the clicks started to appear that I never had before. The body aches started to happen that I never had before. And I've always been like in decent shape. I've never been like a muscle bound freak or anything like that. And I've always been like relatively athletic, you know what I mean? But like all of a sudden, I would bend down to tie my shoes, and I'm like tying my shoes, and I'm like sit up, and I'm like, man, that was kind of a struggle. Like, while bending over, breathing, you know what I mean? Like crushing my lungs. And I'm like, that's not supposed to be like that, Just little things like that I would take notice. And I'm like, I have to make some sort of a change. But I've got to be able to balance it. Like I'm also obsessive with things that I like. So if I was a single man, I would probably be at the gym 6 days a week. I would be the Chad Rybar. You know what I mean? I would be
Chad, Dad.
Fucking morning class, afternoon class. I would figure my work schedule out, to make it so I could train more. You know what I mean? Like I would be selfish with my time in that aspect, but like being a husband, being a father, having to share my time with these other people, I need to, but also like make sure that I'm taking care of myself. That's my motivation is, and I want to be around for my kids.
You want to be around. Yeah. You don't want to be that. Look at, and this is a self-inflict on myself. I'm 257 pounds. Okay.
Yeah.
6 foot, 257 pounds. You don't see guys in their 80s over 250 pounds.
Right.
And I need to drop weight. And that's the plan.
Yeah.
So I've already wanted, if I wasn't training jiu-jitsu, Jesus, dude.
Right.
It would be bad. Yeah. And that's the only thing, that's only thing keeping me kind of, functional. And I need to work on that because, I want to be that badass dad at the pickup line.
You're right.
And I want all the other dads to be like, oh, this motherfucker.
Well, think about like, you've got leg injuries.
Yep.
And if you didn't use it, think how much your leg, like it would become debilitating. You know
exactly.
What I mean? There would be pain. Yeah, you probably already have a bit of pain with it.
Yeah,
just living day to day. But if you don't use it, it just gets worse. So by you exercising and by trying to stay flexible and limber, because of the benefit of the martial art, but like it's benefiting your body in an everyday aspect.
And some guys will be like, I don't want to get hurt because of my work.
Right.
And I get that.
Right.
You don't want to be hurt, especially if some guys don't have insurance.
Yeah.
And that sucks. And I don't know. I've been blessed to have good health care insurance through my job my whole life. So like that's always helped me up when I get injured, But if you're like the only guy and then you're running the shit, and if you go down, you just got to be mindful with your training. But like it's still good to get in there because being healthy makes you live long. So you don't want to be like keeping your family afloat and then die of a heart attack.
Right.
And then what?
Right.
You're in the same boat. So like, even though if you turned your body inside out, how healthy would it be?
Right.
And like, for me, for sure, not as healthy as it could be. And like, so that's self-inflection. You know what I mean? I'm not sure about that. Alexa, I'm telling you, it's the truth. So to me, I feel like this episode is kind of like, we came in thinking it was going to be, gym stuff, but I feel it's coming with like a self-inflection, look at a deep look.
Take inventory of yourself.
Yeah, a self-inventory.
Yeah,
is what's kind of this episode's kind of about. So, yeah. So that being said, my goals for this week, and if you guys have goals, I want you guys to write them, DM us what your goals are, and then tell them if you hit them. So
one of the things that I've in not just jiu-jitsu, but just in life in general, whether it be like career goals, things like that, I've always been a big proponent in writing things down, but also like maybe even like a social media post or whatnot. And
Accountability.
right. So by writing it down, you're making it tangible. It's not just a thought in your head anymore. It's now a reality. You've put it on paper. By sharing it with social media, even though I don't think most people are going to be like, hey, bro, you didn't get that promotion in 6 months. Like you posted, you were, that was your goal, da da da. Like, fuck you, or you suck. They're not going to do that. But in your mind, now people know about it. And if I don't do it, am I going to be a failure? Like I got to make this happen. And so it gives you a little extra motivation to like maybe work a little bit harder so you can smash your goals.
I'm going to write on Oast Nation, what are your goals for this week in training? And I'm going to tag BJJ Balance. And then as you guys send me your answers, I'm going to reshare them with the BJJ handle, and then we'll reshare them on both platforms. And so, because we're all as a team, baby. We're trying to keep balance. We're trying to stay, in the fight together. So we want to help you try to get to your goals. We want to congratulate you when you do. We want to tell you, hey, get your shit together when you don't. My goals for this week is I want to get 5 submissions from people's back. Okay. I want to be on their back, and I want to have 5 subs from the back. My goal is, and I suck at back. I don't get a lot of subs from the back.
Whatever throw you just did, my goal this week is to not have that done to me. Church did that shit to me last week.
I taught Church that.
Yeah, and then he goes, by the way, Matt's going to do this to you. I was like, fuck. So, my goal this week would be I'd like to get some good rounds in training-wise. I'd like to actually take something that we're learning in one of our class lessons, whatever that be this coming week, and really try to apply that through the week. Like make it stick.
And sometimes that's hard because sometimes you're like, everybody just learned it. So everybody knows it. So it's hard to hit it.
Right.
So you're like, I got to hit what we learned last week.
But I feel like if I 100% agree with that, but maybe if everybody else abandons it and I don't, maybe I'm the guy that hits it.
There you go.
So
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. And tomorrow, me and Kenny get the roll for the first time. We're going to talk about it next week on the podcast. It'll be good times. So with that further ado, thanks for watching, guys. We really appreciate it. Follow us on all our socials at Oast Nation, BJJ, at The Freak Party, Kenny Wilson, Instagram, at BJJ Balance, Spotify, YouTube at BJJ Balance, TikTok. We're everywhere. Amazon Music, Pandora, all that good stuff. Appreciate all the support, and we'll see you guys next time. Os.